Germany joins European partners with troop deployment to Greenland. Thank God. 13 entire soldiers. Actually, that's not... The fact that it's only 13 is not actually that bad. If you're sending soldiers as a deterrent, having any number of them there is meaningful. Because the goal isn't to, like, actually... you don't actually want it to turn into a shootout. You just want the potential threat, because then if you do something illegal and the German soldiers point their guns at you and you shoot them, now you've shot German soldiers, so on and so forth. You get me, you get me. Tripwire deterrent. I think the Canadian government's setting up a consulate in Greenland. Danish officials say fundamental agreement over Greenland remains after U.S. talks. Great, so they didn't resolve anything. Danish and Greenland officials went over to speak with Trump today, and it seems that nothing has changed. Denmark has announced plans to boost the country's military presence in the Arctic and North Atlantic as Trump tries to justify his calls for a U.S. takeover of the vast territory. Trump is trying to make the case NATO should help the U.S. acquire the world's largest island. Anything less than it being under American control is unacceptable. 75 countries we've suspended immigrant visa processing to. So if a NATO member attacks another NATO member, what happens? Does NATO go Article 13 on their ass? Nobody knows what happens. Nobody on Earth knows what's going to happen in the near future. There are no blueprints for where we're going right now. Trump was asked about Greenland wanting to remain part of Denmark.
On Greenland, sir, the premier of Greenland said today, we prefer to stay with Denmark. Do you see that as the final word? That? The premier of Greenland.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Do you want to see democracy?
Jesus fucking Christ, man. The premier of Greenland? I don't know who that guy is. Come on, I want to see the other clips from that. How much did he say? Right there outside of Air Force One. Come on, come on, come on. Show me, show me, show me. Ah, where is it? How long ago was that? Oh, this is from 2 p.m. yesterday. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Well, what about anything from today?
You see that beautiful milk? That's what we're here for. We're going to be discussing milk and whole milk and how...
That's what we're talking about today. Gotcha, gotcha. I know we've got a brand new spanking fucking food pyramid.
Can I just ask you about the emotion of this moment? What did the administration, what did Trump's team say?
Trump didn't go to the meeting himself. They met with Vance. Oh, really? Did I misread the AP headline? Trump wasn't there personally? Gotcha.
When you presumably told them that you can't just take over a people, you can't just take over and acquire a nation. Was there any discussion about, did they appreciate that perspective, or for them is this simply about security?
I think that what we have been saying, that the meeting is been on a respect way, and we have shown where our limits are, and from there I think that it would be very good to look forward, and this high level group that is going to work together. As I'm already saying, that it's all our interest to find the right path.
Great stuff. Really interesting. I love the Fox News framing on this. Big problem. Trump warns Greenland's defiance could spark major consequences. Again, like, there's no way out of this without consequences in the media. It's fucking crazy, man. Greenland's defiance for not wanting to be annexed?
A crucial meeting today as Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio get together with Denmark and Greenland officials at the White House to discuss the future of Greenland. Greenland's premier has refused to entertain offers turning over its sovereignty, saying, quote, now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis. And if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark here and now, then we choose Denmark, we choose NATO, we choose the Kingdom of Denmark, we choose the European Union. Here was President Trump's response.
The premier of Greenland said today,
quote, that's going to be a big problem for him, meaning the premier of Greenland.
Well, thanks for having me. I guess I would say I think it's a big problem on multiple fronts, mainly because his own people have made it quite clear in Greenland that they want support from the United States. There is no NATO, there is no Greenlandic security without the United States. We're already providing not only the security of Greenland, but essentially Denmark's, the entire European security. It's ridiculous for him to talk about how he's going to have to choose between the two. And he's not speaking with the consent of his own constituents when making these kinds of ridiculous statements. So I think President Trump is absolutely right to call him on that ridiculous statement.
They keep doing this, man. I think that when one of the officials who was present at this meeting has essentially said over and over again, we don't want to hear from Greenland's politicians. We want to hear from their people, which means I guarantee you they're going to, like, pretty soon we're going to get a tearful, like, Fox News biopic on the one guy in Greenland who really wants to be owned by the United States, you know? He's not speaking with the consent of his people. Rather, Donald Trump is, by saying he should invade them.
We wait to see what comes out of this meeting between Vance, Rubio, Greenland, and Denmark. Is there a sweet spot here, Drew, where everyone gets what they want, everyone gets what they need, and quite frankly, everyone gets to save face? And if so, Drew, what is that sweet spot?
There absolutely is a sweet spot. And, I think that there's just a lot of, ridiculous narrative coming from the Europeans on this particular subject. What President Trump is offering is billions of dollars of investment in the form of private investments and projects, all of which we're looking at that span from AI data centers to multiple rare earth.
Only 8% of Republicans believe military force should be used to take over Greenland. Those numbers would shift if Republicans committed hard enough to that. Republicans have no principles. They don't believe in anything, and they're very stupid. They're motivated primarily by key jangling, Basically, every major project of the Trump administration so far has failed. ICE has stalled, incredibly unpopular. The tariffs were walked back in a million ways. The economy has not gotten any better. Job losses are mounting. Groceries continue to get more expensive. You always need, like, a new issue to hang your hat up on, right? That's what they did with Venezuela. They did it with Iran. They did it with Israel and Gaza. They've done it with Venezuela. There's always, like, you always need some big project. Republicans will always shift towards that because focusing their energy on pretending that Greenland needs to be annexed is much easier for them than acknowledging that this whole thing has been a string of bullshit.
And critical minerals projects. I mean, the sky is the limit, and everybody benefits from this, including the Danes, including the EU, including NATO, but most importantly, the Greenlanders, who have overwhelmingly said they want investment and support from the United States. They want a pathway towards independence, and they are absolutely tired of being exploited and oppressed by the Danes as they have been for the last.
Oh my God. It's incredible. It's the Russian playbook, but somehow it's actually less legitimate. Like the idea that Ukraine was taken over by Western puppets after Euromaidan, and that the Russians represent a liberatory force or whatever. It's the same basic argument, but the Russians actually were closer to being correct.
100 years. The era of colonialism is over, and it's time to let people achieve their own destiny. No one is going to stand in the
by being invaded by the United States?
Way of the Greenlanders achieving the goal that they want, and they need the United States for that.
Yeah, to that point, what do you make of this idea of increasing NATO's presence in Greenland to counteract the threat of China and Russia?
Just saying things. Yeah, well, this guy doesn't believe in anything. It's just like fun wordplay for him, as it is for all of these people. So it's, he's probably like delighted that he gets to say all of these contradictory things. The era of colonialism is over. No longer will the cruel Danes, stamp their foot on the backs of the kind Greenlanders. The Greenlander people crave freedom, which is why we need to run the country. Yeah. He knows he's a joke. What's the name of this guy, by the way?
Is that enough? Should that be enough for the United States in light of the fact that Trump has said his concern with Greenland is Chinese and Russian investment taking over whatever? Or is this really about the minerals and the mineral rights and being able to unlock what Greenland has to offer to help us economically as well?
Well, there's obviously a joint nexus between national security and economic development. I mean, looking at this from the president's perspective, my opinion is he realizes that you need to do both. And so the reality is NATO is not able to protect itself without the United States. I think we need to stop pretending that there's some sort of world in which NATO exists without the United States. We've been propping it up for years and years and years. And obviously, the European members need to do more of a part to contribute and pull their weight. So they do need to contribute more towards.
Yeah, this guy's like a proper deep state agent. His bio on Green Meta Advisory, founder and CEO, former top U.S. official on strategic mineral and energy supply chain development. So when he mentions mineral rights and AI, that's the shit he actually cares about. Everything else about democracy, NATO protection, military investment, the cruel oppression of the Danes, and so on are meaningless fluff. As always, you pull the mask off and it's capital trying to legitimize acquisition of additional resources. Highly regarded business leader and has served in the highest leadership assignments at the White House, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and U.S. Departments of Energy and Defense. Proper deep state guy. Like, really, his whole life has been cycling in and out of, like, intelligence, energy work, consultancy. Prior to the U.S. government service, he was a strategic management consultant at one of the big four consulting firms, served as an officer with distinction in the U.S. Special Forces and U.S. Marine Corps, where he gained on-the-ground international minerals experience while serving in combat. How the fuck do you gain international minerals experience while serving in combat? What are you doing in the Marine Corps that's helping you understand mineral extraction, out of curiosity? And he has a business degree. Phenomenal. It's always the same guy, man. It's always the deep state. I hate the Antichrist. I hate the Antichrist. I hate the Antichrist. Hot take, I actually don't like the Antichrist. That's a controversial position these days, you know? Dude, look at this, man. From May 7th, 2025, on KNR News, interview with Drew Horn. I hope this talk will give not only us, but also the population some insight on how Americans see our country, especially related to the mining sector. There are no more conspiracy. All conspiracy theories are true. They're not even theories. It's like the conspiracy theory. I think the reason the Trump administration is doing this thing is because there are some business leaders that stand to enrich themselves off it. And then you Google, are business leaders standing to enrich themselves off it? And then Google says, yes.
All right. Well, first of all, welcome to our country.
KNR is funded in whole or in part by the Greenlandic government. Man, they got this guy on fucking Greenland's NPR. 1.4K views. The whole country was showing up for this one.
And thank you for taking the time to talk with us this time.
Well, I personally think that Greenland has just unlimited potential to do things in multiple sectors. I think
fucking Christ.
I think that Greenland and the United States and Canada and Denmark and basically all the European countries have a real opportunity to work together to develop in a way where all parties benefit. I think that, you know, there's a lot of noise and I think, you know, probably inaccurate information and things that we're not, you know, a part of, but the one silver lining or the benefit is that now I think there's a lot of focus on Greenland and what I would like.
Yeah, he really does just speak like a corporate drone. It's crazy. I'm so tired of the left being right all the time. All the time. The same thing with the Iraq War, Vietnam, whatever else. But like so transparently here. So this guy, before he went on Fox News, was coached or possibly coached himself. He could be a smart guy. I don't know, right? Like, okay, obviously this is just about mineral rights. This has nothing to do with political freedom, democracy, NATO, security. It has nothing to do with any of those things. His entire life, every argument he's ever made, every belief he's ever expressed, every position he's ever taken, all of it has been in the service of how does the United States acquire the largest and most profitable possible supply of Earth's minerals. That's it. That's the only thing he has ever believed in. So every other argument he makes is molded around it. It's like that one lady whose entire life has been trying to get oil in Venezuela. Yes, it's the same thing every time, man. These deep state fucks who were grown in a lab, their whole lives are committed to this entirely. We cannot have a free country until these people are disempowered entirely. Like there is a reason why every time a developing country attempts to nationalize their resources, we get suddenly like very concerned about the human rights going on down there, right? Like we're suddenly very, very, very concerned about their democracy and their level of egalitarianism or whatever, and then we get involved. Look at us with Venezuela. Oh, we're so concerned about the plight of the Venezuelan people. Look at us with Iran. Look at us with Iraq. We did the same thing in Iraq, you know. It's genuinely felt like evil has won a silent game Monopoly. Yeah. Just keep in mind that, like, evil won this game thousands of years ago. It's just for the longest time, people didn't even know the game. Like, your average feudal peasant probably wasn't that concerned with the socio-political inequality of a system whereby you know, through heritage, the aristocracy maintains indefinite control over literally everything. Like under feudalism, you know the serfs own nothing, right? Like the feudal lords, the aristocrats, and then the king, whatever, they owned all of it, the land, everything on the land. You were just given the position of tilling it, you know? You were all, like everyone in the country or kingdom or whatever else, they were just like house servants, basically, on a very, 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 very large field. Peasant riots would disagree. I don't know what you're talking... Dude, peasant riots were because people were hungry, not because people envisioned a better world. Like, the closest we've ever gotten to a genuine, like, flip from feudal inequality to, like, really grasping at the stars was the French Revolution. And they went insane with it. So insane that they all died. Basically, that was the one time that for like a brief glimmering moment, the powers that be were defeated, and they saw in the night sky the shining star, and they reached out and it burned the fuck out of their hand. And then you got Napoleon and so on. The revolution started with hungry people, yeah, but then they got sick with it.
To do is represent.
Why are you skipping the U.S. Revolution? Because the U.S. Revolution was not a proletarian revolution, not even close. The U.S. Revolution only really happened because the landed gentry of the United States didn't like the fact that they were considered inferior to the British aristocracy. You had like highly educated people in Britain come over here, and they were given positions of power, but then over time they develop a kind of like autonomous culture, and they're like, what the fuck, why are we just like little colonial aristocrats? Why can't we be like cool British aristocrats with the big hair, you know? And then the crown was like neener neener, and then the taxes and the so on and so on. Haiti went wild too. That's true. Haiti also burned their hand on the sun.
A non-political interest of U.S. investors that are looking to basically ask the question to Greenlanders. What is it you would like, and how could we help?
And at this time, I've been reading that you're arriving with a private delegation to Greenland.
This guy is so handsome.
Can you tell us a bit more about how many are you, and which people does this private delegation consist of?
Well, so normally when we travel, we bring, you know, about 4 to 5 other CEOs and investors. So we've got the same model this time. We've got a large strategic partner back in the United States that's looking to kind of lead most of the larger investments. So they're the primary group that we're representing. We've also obviously got the leadership of...
What is this interview? I just think it's really, really interesting how... like the rhetoric these people take when they're on Fox News versus the rhetoric they take normally. Normally, this guy's just John Business, deep state agent and investment executive, you know? And then on Fox News, he puts on the American flag pin and the striped red and white tie, and he's like, yeah, for too long, the Greenlanders have been oppressed by the Danish people. We have no choice but to go in and liberate them. And also, because we fund NATO, we basically already protect them. Like, there's no way they can... Like, you get what I mean? It's psychotic, man.
Towards the collective Arctic security. Obviously, the United States is, as it has been, going to continue
like, look, he's even clenching his jaw differently. These two interviews are less than a year apart, okay? I doubt he had fucking like a blow to the head in between that caused him to hold his face differently. Look at this, man.
Be the primary contributor and protector there, but at the same time, collectively, we need to look at investment and growth across the board that allows us to pair that with that national security. It's overwhelmingly what the Greenlanders want. It's what the United States wants. It's, you know, in private conversations what the Danes and the EU wants. Let's just stop playing games and pretending here and let the United States bring these options that everybody wants, and we all will benefit from them.
Drew Horn with very pointed insight on Greenland.
Yep. Skinwalker shit, yeah. These guys are the reason why Trump won in 2024. I mean, they're also the reason why Trump won in 2016. These guys are the reason why the Democrats don't go further left. I'm being serious. DC is chock full of guys like this. They are incredibly powerful. And if you take any positions that inconvenience them, they will put on any mask they need to. They will go to the mainstream media. They will go on fucking Joe Rogan. It doesn't matter. And they will ruin you. They are incredibly powerful. These guys are the real, genuine deep state. I mean that. I'm not being facetious. Like, these are from day one, their whole lives are about building up a collection of private special interests that they advocate for by any means necessary. That is their job. That's the reason why the Democrats are terrified of stepping too far. They don't want to incur... They want these guys to know that even if Trump no longer is politically viable, the Democrats will still rep their interests, you know? Like a pathetic and self-conscious person telling their ex that once they're... If things don't work out with their new partner, they're still, like, available if they want to come crawling back to them, you know? Why should Vosh care whether or not he looks a bit like Asmongold? He obviously looks like Asmongold. It's just like many of the things chat notices, it gets tedious by the third message, but there are going to be 300, you know? It was like the other day when that lady had an AI voice. Like, she sounded like AI. She was an AI. And then it was like the first person said it, and I was like, oh, that's true. And then 5 minutes later, people were still saying it. And I was like, do you not read chat? Do you not see that you're being tedious? Do you not have any, like, aspirations to novelty? Very difficult. You make it very difficult sometimes, chat. You really strain me. You strain me. Oh, fuck. How is it 12:30 already, man? Are we even going to have time for E33 today? Okay, close this tab. Close that tab. That's the Nick Shirley interview. That's a tab that I fucking Googled. Oh, hold on, wait. I found this while I was Googling for stuff relating to Greenland. I want to see if I can find... There are probably so many fucking insane takes out there on Greenland from the YouTube, like, armchair generals, and I think we're going to see more of them over time. I didn't look at them with Venezuela because Venezuela felt like a little bit more, I don't know, real, but what are people saying about Greenland? How Trump can take Greenland without firing a shot? Is this AI?
Donald Trump doesn't need an invasion to take Greenland.
Yes. I'll watch it anyway.
He has quieter options, and Europe knows it. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, but it already hosts America's northernmost base, Pituffik Space Base, critical for missile defense and space surveillance. The first option is money. The U.S. has bought territory before. Alaska, Louisiana...
I take it back. This is incredibly boring, actually. Yeah, man, we would just Louisiana purchase that shit. This is AI voice? Really? How interesting, how novel.